What is up, guys? Today I'm here with
Lake
and he was on.
Volcanics.
All right, so how do you feel about the deck?
Pretty good. A little bricky today. Other than that, usually pretty consistent.
Yeah, you got like second place last week, right? Yeah, must feel good. So how would you describe the deck? Is it an OTK deck, FTK deck?
It is kind of both. Though FTK, if you go first, you actually kill them on their draw phase, or you
Really?
can OTK them as well.
That's insane. All right, well, let's go and see these cards.
Well, I'm just doing this in attack point order, so
Yeah.
we start with just our 3 Ash Blossoms.
I mean, you gotta play it, right?
You gotta. It's also a fire, which works with this deck for a certain searcher, which we'll get to later.
Yep.
One of the main staples of Volcanics is the shell.
Right.
Obviously, you play 3 of. Shell is just, once it's in your grave, pay 500, search another one from your deck to your hand.
Edison cards in 2023. Let's go.
Cards. One of the new cards, Shell 2.0, is Volcanic Rimfire. Rimfire has 2 effects. When it goes to grave, you can either banish it to dump another Volcanic from your deck to the grave, so just gets you that shell in there faster, it gets you your boss monster in there, anything you really need. Otherwise, you can also, when it goes to grave, you can banish a Blaze Accelerator card, just any of them, from your graveyard or your field to activate another one from your hand or deck.
That's crazy.
It's
Like
kind of a wild card.
all the new Volcanic stuff is absolutely insane. It
All
reads
the new
like a
cards
custom.
do everything.
Yeah.
Then we run just the 1 of counter, just for certain hands of, you might not have what you want to dump. You don't want to dump one of your starters, one of your extenders, so you dump the counter because it can come in handy sometimes. Someone attacks into you, they don't know what counter does, burn themselves out.
Yeah, you've gotten a couple games off me for me just not reading counter.
Yep, I've gotten a lot of games off people. Back to Edison cards. We got the
Scatter
triple
shot.
You can run Scatter Shot at 3, or you can't run Scatter Shot. There is no other option. Scatter
Interesting.
Shot, when you send it to the grave by a Blaze Accelerator effect, it sends 2 more from your hand and or deck, and then it Raigekis your opponent and burns them for 1,500.
Do you ever feel like you brick on this card now? Because I know bricking on shells and scatter shots was a problem with old Volcanics.
Today, yeah, I bricked on Scattershot a few times, but I mean, I've had days where I haven't even drawn into Scattershot once, which is actually what you want.
Yeah.
After that, we have one of the new searchers, Volcanic Trooper.
What does this guy do?
Trooper is just rocket on crack.
Really? Okay.
Trooper will search any Volcanic card.
Really?
So you can search monster, trap, spell, anything. You'll usually use it to grab the new Blaze Accelerator card, but if you already have that in hand, you can grab any of the other Volcanic cards you need.
Very cool.
After that, we have something from Duelist Nexus. We have Heat of the Fire Channeler.
We're playing a channeler.
Playing a Channeler. People don't see this one coming, but it's actually really good for setting things up. With Hita, you discard her and another fire monster in order to search for a fire monster with more attack points, which is why we have the Ash Blossom, obviously, because you play Ash, and that gets you, anything, because it has 0 attack. And then if you dump off a shell, that gets your shell engraved as well as getting you a search.
Right. So, yeah, this pitch shell, or can it pitch scatter shot and trigger scatter shot?
It could, yeah, but it only gets 500 burn.
Okay. But still, it's still insane.
It can help, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you search anything with more attack points than whatever else you discarded, which for, if you discard an Ash, discard a shell, it's pretty much anything else in the deck, because every single monster is fire in the main deck.
Gotcha.
After that, we have the tried and true Rocket.
Volcanic Rocket.
Rocket searches our Blaze Accelerator, reload, Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, or if you for some reason want the OG Blaze Accelerator, you can do that too. We can also bring them back from graves, so
Very cool.
that's part of the good thing for it. Then we got another one of, this is Awakening the Possessed Greater Inari Fire. This is part of the FTK combo. This can summon itself from the deck by tributing, actually it's not even tributing, it's sending a level 4 or below fire monster and a spellcaster from your field to the grave. Because it summons itself from the deck by its own effect, it's considered an undefined summon, therefore it can't be ashed.
Yeah, this has the weirdest summoning condition ever, but yeah, it does. It is that way. That's just how it works.
When you summon it, you get to just choose a monster on your opponent's field and burn them for its attack points. It doesn't even target for that. When it leaves a field, you add a spiritual fire art or possessed spell trap from your deck to your hand. Specifically to the graveyard, you can't have it banished.
Sad.
There's that. We run 2 of the new boss monster, Emperor. Emperor's insane. It summons itself by banishing either 3 pyros from your field or graveyard, or a blaze accelerator from your field or graveyard. Summon it, only can summon it once per turn. On its summon, it burns your opponent 500 points for every banished pyro monster you have. Doesn't even have to be volcanic, just pyro.
And it can that very quickly gets out of hand, as I saw in my games against you.
Yes, very quickly. I burned you for what, 3k at one point?
You burned me for 25, yeah, and then like 15 the next turn.
15 the previous turn.
Right, yeah. So you did 5k damage just off of him being summoned.
Yep.
It's insane.
And then after you do that burn damage, you get to set a volcanic trap card from your deck. The other thing that's really nice is if working with pyros, I'm looking at the new Snake Eye stuff that's coming out in Age of Overlord.
Interesting. Okay.
We're gonna see what that does, but we'll get to it when we get to it.
Gotcha.
We always run the one of called by because you got a lot of searching to do. If you miss that search, wow, it hurts. You can keep going, but Droll hurts more than the Ash, really.
Have you thought about cross out or not really?
Well, you can run cross out, but you really only would be able to cross out an Ash Blossom.
Gotcha.
As Droll just doesn't really work attribute-wise. I've got it in the side deck, but it's kind of not great.
That's fair.
We run the one of Foolish Burial Goods. That is specifically to dump Blaze Accelerator Reload, which is this guy right here, because that banishes itself from the grave on either player's main phase in order to dump a volcanic from your deck, which is how you can basically scattershot your opponent on their turn. And
Very
so
fun.
It's an interruption that people don't realize is coming, and
Raigeki on your opponent's turn, that burns you as well. Doesn't
15.
Yeah, doesn't really feel good.
Then we have the in-archetype Foolish Burial, which is the entire reason we don't need to run Foolish Burial. This is a 1 per turn Foolish Burial that also, if you send a volcanic monster, you get to either give them a bomb token, or you can burn them for its attack points times 100, or sorry, level times 100. I've been confusing that all day.
I love how Burst in the Tricks is just in the artwork.
Yep, that's a nice little nod to back in GX days.
Very fun. All right.
We also have to run 2 of the vanilla Blaze Accelerator. You can run 1, you can run 3. I run 2 because there have been a lot of times that if I draw 1 and use it to summon Emperor, now it's banished, now I can't activate my Volcanic Blaze Accelerator very easily.
Yeah.
So I run 2 just as kind of a redundancy thing, make sure I can continue playing even if I end up burning 1.
Yeah, and Emperor, if I'm not, like, we're going back a little bit. Emperor sends from hand, face-up deck, or deck or face-up field, right?
No, so Emperor banishes from field and or grave.
Field or grave, okay.
For both the Pyro monsters or a Blaze Accelerator.
What card am I thinking of? There's one that that banishes from deck as well, isn't there?
No idea.
Am I thinking of a different one? Okay, whatever.
Or if you talk about Volcanic, I don't think any of them do.
Weird. Okay.
Then we have our new Blaze Accelerator.
Oh no, it's this one.
The absolute.
Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking
of. Deck.
Yeah, this sends from deck, face up, field, or hand
Yes.
to activate itself. That's insane.
Yeah, it'll send the Blaze Accelerator.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the thing: is you play this, send the Blaze Accelerator, summon Emperor.
Yep.
Volcanic Blaze Accelerator, another do everything card. It's a soft once per turn on both of its effects. You classic Blaze Accelerator, target one of your opponent's monsters. You send a level 1 Pyro from your deck to the graveyard in order to destroy their monster. Which, again, looking at the new Snake Eye cards, they're all level 1 Pyros. We'll go from there.
Very interesting.
Other effect is just once per turn special summon a Volcanic from your hand. It doesn't ignore summoning conditions, so you can't summon Emperor, Doomfire, or Queen off of it, but any of the others you can summon.
It's still just a free special, and that's worth it.
And that's exactly how we get to the FTK.
Yep.
This is controversial, but I only run 2 of Blaze Accelerator Reload. It's a little bricky, it's a little slow, but you still want it specifically for if you draw into a few certain things. Trooper can discard it, and then you get its effect in grave, whether you want to save it for your opponent's turn, or if you need to put Rimfire, Shell, Emperor, whatever into grave. It works.
Yeah.
Then we have our Spiritual Fire at Kurenai, which is what we add off the Greater Inari Fire. This is an older card that just activate it, tribute a fire, burn for their attack points.
It can end games.
And our 2 new cards from the Volcanic Trap cards, 1 of each you can set off Emperor. I only run 1 of each because, again, we're going for the FTK, so we're not running a bunch because we don't want to brick on them. You can only activate 1 of each effective emission per turn. Emission kind of also does everything. You can either take a Volcanic, add it to your hand from deck, or special summon it from deck. You special summon it, you return it to your hand at the end phase. You can do that obviously on either player's turn, but the trap has to survive till your turn for you to do it. Or you target a Pyro on the field, burn your opponent for its attack points, original attack points, but if you control it, the damage is halved. Again, kind of nutty, part of the FTK. The other card, Inferno. All Inferno really does is, well, when you activate it, your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a Pyro from your grave. It inflicts 500 points of damage to them, and then if you banish a Volcanic, it negates their effect. At the end of your opponent's, at your opponent's end phase, you can target, sorry, check.
You're good.
Yep, it is target. So you target up to 2 of your banished and or in graveyard Volcanics and put them at the bottom of your deck in any order.
Yeah.
Which is just how you cycle Rimfire, Shell, Scattershot, even Trooper if you need to, but
Just means you should never run out of resources.
you shouldn't, no, but generally this deck plays fast enough that half the time that doesn't even come into effect.
Very
I've only
cool.
actually had to use it once or twice, and I've had 20-30 duels with this deck.
Gotcha. Very cool. All right, so that's the main deck. Show us the extra deck. So you haven't completed the extra deck yet.
I have not, just because I don't have the cards.
Yeah, but you know what you'd run, so
I
we can
do
talk
know
about that.
So we start with Relinquished Anima. We've got 6 level 1s.
Yeah.
You play it. It's also a spellcaster, which is how we get out the Greater Inari Fire from the deck, because that special summons itself from the deck.
Yeah.
We're playing a fire deck. You play Almirage.
Very fair.
We've got, I don't know, 12 monsters, I think, that I can summon it off of on its normal summon. I got Eebly locked last week, and I got really annoyed about it, so we're adding in the Linger Revo. I have the space for it, I just needed to find one. Self-explanatory, it's for the Eebly lock. That's the only way we really play it. I also played 2 Sunlight Wolf. Yes, I'm flexing the 1 Ghost Rare.
Let's go.
Really want to get the second one, just don't know anyone that's pulled one yet. Sunlight Wolf is really good because it chain blocks your Emperor for the FTK. It'll give you back, usually your Trooper from the grave, but it's not even necessary. The biggest part of it is chain blocking for Emperor, so they can't confirm it. After that, we have our IP Masquerena. We all know what IP does.
Yeah, it's
A
IP.
lot of times, if I'm in such a bind that I need to, we'll summon IP. Good lord, I can't even think. Summon Emperor on their turn, go into Unicorn. Usually, what I like to do is dump a reload, because then if, whatever I shuffle in, if they keep going off that, then I can reload, remove that for play, Scattershot.
Fair enough.
Raigeki from the heavens.
Yep.
After that, we're playing a fire deck. We're playing 2 Hida Ablaze.
Have you summoned anything off Hida yet?
Yes, I actually got access code off it against Sprite. They had Sprint in their grave. I played Hida, took their Sprint, linked forward into access code.
Does anything lock you in this deck? Does anything lock you into fires or pyros or anything?
Yeah, Hida, the Fire Channeler, will lock you into fire effects for the rest of that turn, but half the time you don't even get to that point.
Yeah.
It's only if you draw it, and that card pretty much will get taken out whenever the TCG gets Bonfire.
Gotcha.
Which, who knows how long that'll be.
Yeah, but that's crazy. This deck doesn't lock you at all. So you're able
Not
to do stuff
really,
like
no.
that.
The only thing that locks you is the Channeler. Other than that, you're good. Next, obviously, access code Phoenix Unicorn. I mean,
Yeah.
that's standard for anyone that runs one of them. You run all 3.
Yep.
After that, we've got Assembled Nightingale. I would have a Downer Magician, I just don't own one. And then obviously from there you go into Zeus.
Yeah, so what's missing is Downer, and you said you maybe second Anima?
I could put another Anima, or if something else came out that I wanted to put in there. I really just have an open slot to put in anything. What I did for a little while, back when I was using older Volcanic before the new stuff came out, is I actually ran a Dragoons, and I always made sure it was the front card, because anytime Kashtira would go into Steel, or any deck that could go in and take or banish or whatever, they'd immediately see that Dragoons go, nope, and then it would protect everything else in the extra deck.
Very interesting. Very, very funny. Yeah, it's not cheating. You're giving them the extra deck. They just see the Dragoons. It doesn't matter if you can make it or not. But yeah. All right. So how did would you make any would you make any changes otherwise?
Not yet. Not until Bonfire comes out. We kind of gotta wait and just keep playtesting it. The only thing that's kind of, sometimes it can be a little bit of an issue if you only get one of these in your starting hand. You really don't want it. You want to set it off Emperor, which
Right.
is why we play one. Otherwise, I would play more. If somehow, by some magic, the ban list hits me, we're gonna have to change the deck up, but we will see. Emperor, you could theoretically play one of. I definitely looked at playing the old boss as Doomfire, because if you set a mission off Emperor, well, to be fair, you wouldn't play it off Emperor, but if you had this in your starting hand, set this, didn't have anything to play on the field, if they went into attack with something of less than 3k, you can use this special out Doomfire. Doomfire forces them to attack it. Not even that they can only attack it, they are forced to attack him. It is a compelled duel.
Very interesting.
And when Doomfire destroys an opponent's monster, you then destroy every other monster they control, and for each one they burn for 500.
Very. That would be very annoying to play against. All right, man. Well, do you have any shout-outs? Do you have anyone you want to mention?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta shout out Payne, the original Volcanics man.
Yep.
Other than that, give me my bomb token for real. All I got right now is these. I want my bomb token.
Very fair. All right. Well, thanks, man.